Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzpunk TV here, aka Lord33. I'm back here today with another video on the channel for y'all, and we are going to be discussing God of Destruction Power in Dragon Ball Super, right? And this is coming from the Fallout of Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 69, where we had Beerus trying to teach Vegeta about the Hakai technique. Right, so this got me thinking. Let's talk about Beerus. Let's talk about Vegeta, because I think we all believe Vegeta is eventually going to learn the Hakai technique in the Granola survivor of Dragon Ball Super. And I also want to talk about Toppo. Right, Toppo was the only other mortal that we know of, right, outside of the Gods of Destruction that used Hakai so far in Dragon Ball Super. I'm talking about the Tournament of Power in the anime. You guys got to remember, that the events of the anime and the manga do slightly differ, right? And we'll talk about that as we go through this video. But I do see some similarities and connections that we can take from the anime, where we may see Vegeta eventually go in the Granola Survivor arc. So before we get into it, right, I actually had the green screen up, so we're going to be looking back at the Vegeta versus Toppo fight from Dragon Ball Super episode 126, right? And I have it in English dub here. The dub and the sub are pretty much the same thing, so we don't really have to worry about any script issues like back in the day with DBZ. So before we get into the actual fight, we won't be watching the whole thing, but we're going to be, looking at different parts of it. And before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Beerus, right? Because this video is about Beerus, Toppo, and Vegeta. Beerus, when we don't really know how Beerus became a god of destruction. There's still a bunch of lore behind the gods of destruction that, has yet to be revealed. And hopefully one day we'll know about how Beerus became a god of destruction and, the true secret behind their power and all this, right? But we do know that the main technique that gods of destruction use is the Hakai technique. Remember, Beerus revealed this to us in Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 68 when he said that, do you really think, gods of destruction, would be able to handle being, all pure and having a clear mind to use the power of Ultra Instinct? Because it makes more sense for Ultra Instinct to be used by, the Angel and Goku, right? Because Goku has a similar personality to the Angels. But when you look at Beerus and his personality and the Gods of Destruction in general, the Hakai technique, works perfectly. And we've seen, Beerus use the Hakai technique in a couple different moments. If you guys remember in the first episode of Dragon Ball Super, he uses it to destroy half the planet when the food he eats isn't tasty, right? I think the best example we all know is when Beerus uses the Hakai technique against Zamasu in the Goku Black arc, when he completely destroys him and he disintegrates, right? We've seen Goku also use the Hakai technique in the Dragon Ball Super manga. We see Goku try to use it the same way Beerus does, but he can't completely do it perfectly. But he's able to get it done for the most part, because we do see Zamasu start to disappear, right? And then we also saw Beerus use it against Vegeta just last chapter. Remember we see Beerus used the technique only to the extent where it would blow up Vegeta's armor. If, Beerus wanted to, he could have easily destroyed Vegeta in that moment, but he wasn't trying to. He was just giving him a demonstration of that technique, right? And the big thing that we learn about is Beerus says that his mind is always on destruction, nothing else. Right? And that's the secret. If Vegeta really wants this type of power, he's going to have to learn to let everything go and then just focus on destruction. And we may see Vegeta do that to a point, but I don't think it's going to be all the way to where Beerus is saying, right? Where Vegeta actually becomes a god of destruction. This actually leads me to Toppo versus Vegeta, right? So remember, this is unique to the anime. Toppo versus Vegeta, even though that fight does take place in the manga, Toppo never transforms into a god of destruction. That never happens. It only happens in the anime. And remember, the anime was way further ahead of the manga during this time, right? So we know that Toritaro in the the anime they do things differently. So in the anime, I believe it was Dragon Ball Super manga not manga, episode 125, right? We see Toppo, he basically lets go of everything, and he gets a really dope transformation scene where he transforms into a god of destruction. And he then, proceeds to absolutely demolish Frieza, and one of the biggest ass whoopings we've ever seen in Dragon Ball. It's bad. Vegeta, Frieza gets his ass whooped pretty bad. And then in episode 126, we see Toppo versus Vegeta, and that's going to lead us right into this. Like I said, it is an English dub, so, take that as you will. There's not, any big difference between the script. So let's get into it. Let's go. I love this. So Vegeta, powers up and just fires the final flash, and Toppo uses the Hakai to destroy it. So, as you guys can see, the Hakai technique destroys Vegeta's final flash. That's the main thing. When you use the Hakai, it can destroy anything. It can destroy technique, it can destroy a person, it can destroy a planet, it can destroy anything made of solid matter. That's the main basis behind the power. Alright, so this is the part I want you guys to pay attention to, or at least one of them.
After all your lofty talk of justice, now you only destroy.
So remember, Toppo, before he becomes a god of destruction, in the anime, right? Basically, he's this big guy that talks about justice. He's very prideful, just like Vegeta is, right? Vegeta always talks about his Saiyan pride. Toppo's always talking about his pride as a pride trooper, defending the universe from, baddies and keeping people safe. That's what Toppo is all about. We see it with his, his little retarded dance moves that remind you of the Ginyu Force, but still, it's just a showcase of Toppo's pride and how much being a pride trooper means to him. So you guys see here, right? Toppo says, I have no use for justice if it can't save our universe. So basically, Toppo lets go of everything he believes in, right? His pride, being a pride trooper, all of that. He lets everything go so he can become a god of destruction and gain this power, because Toppo believes this power is what's essential for them to win the tournament of power. Remember, Toppo is a god of destruction candidate, and he trained with Belmont, right? The god of Universe 11. And by training with Belmont to become a future god of destruction, Toppo had never made that full leap to becoming a full god of destruction. He became a full god of destruction once he decided to let everything go. His pride, his ideals, his beliefs, right? Because being a god of destruction really means that all you care about is destruction. So Toppo becoming a god of destruction is meaning that he's going to destroy whatever comes in his path to keep Universe 11 safe.
That's my cause. And to serve it, I forsake all else.
Okay, bet. So basically what Toppo is saying here is that, as a god of destruction, I have to give up everything to do my job. And my job is deciding what gets destroyed and what remains intact. And by defeating Vegeta here in the Tournament of Power, that's going to mean that Universe 11 will get destroyed and erased, right? And that must be done for the survival of Universe 11. And Toppo believes that by giving up everything, that's how he has to do his job as a god of destruction. Very similar to what Beerus kind of said to Vegeta in the last manga chapter, right? Now, this might get Vegeta fans a little bit mad, but I want to remind you guys that there's a difference between the anime and the manga.
Unlike you, I won't abandon all that to play God.
Unlike you, I won't abandon all that to play God. Like I said, there's a difference here in the anime and the manga. Toppo and Vegeta, even though they do fight in the manga version of the Tournament of Power, Toppo never gains the God of Destruction power. And also remember, Vegeta doesn't gain the power of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution until he starts fighting Jiren. Right? So the event's different here, much differently. And the thing Vegeta's here saying is, I'm not going to abandon my pride. I'm not going to abandon my cause. I'm not going to abandon what I believe in just so I can gain God of Destruction power. you know. But remember, the manga's version of this, it does differ, right? Even though Vegeta is a good character and he cares about his family, and of course he cares about his pride, that doesn't necessarily mean that he wouldn't, you know, sacrifice at least part of that to gain a higher sense of power. And this is where Vegeta fans might get angry, okay? Oh man, I love this. So Vegeta's just starts overpowering Toppo's God of Destruction Power. This is when it gets good. Oh man, Vegeta on the offensive when he's in control of a fight, that's the best Vegeta. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part.
Focus on his attacks and destroy them with your power.
Mm.
As long as his body survives, that's all that matters.
So basically, you have Belmont just telling you what the basis of the Hakai technique is. You use the Hakai technique to destroy your opponent's attacks. So basically, you guys can see how Vegeta can use this in battle once he gains it. You use the Hakai technique. We already know how strong Vegeta is on his own. You add the Hakai on top of that, right? A mastered Hakai technique. Because remember, Goku did not master Hakai. He tried using it against Zamasu and failed. But if Vegeta was to learn Hakai for himself and put that on top of the power he already has, that would make him very, very, you know, ferocious in battle, because he could legit use that technique to destroy the techniques of his opponent. And that would make him pretty hard to kill. Oh. And then Vegeta's will and perseverance overpowers the Hakai technique. I love it. Only a failure abandons his principles and pride. One of the best lines Vegeta gives in the anime. Easily. What an amazing quote. So you can see, right? As Vegeta's overpowering Toppo, he's still using the Hakai technique, and it's destroying, you know, part of the arena. So it's not that the technique's not successful, it's just not successful on Vegeta. Loving this. So dope. And then Vegeta, of course, he charges up the final explosion, and we all know what happens from here. Toppo uses a final attack as well, hoping that his Hakai can overpower Vegeta's final explosion, and it doesn't. Vegeta gets the dub. So how does this all tie with the manga, right? So going back to the manga, right, as we see Beerus kicking Vegeta's ass again, we see Beerus saying, these are the lines I want you to pay attention to. Beerus says, everything those Saiyans did in the past, what's it got to do with you now? As long as you're trapped by the patch, you'll never be able to grow past this point, right? So Beerus sees that Vegeta still has a self-hatred for himself for what he did. And we saw this get explored in the moral arc. Vegeta is still guilty for what he did against the Namekians back in DBZ, when he slaughtered many of them in his quest to get the Dragon Balls, right? So Vegeta wants to atone for those sins, and that's what makes his character arc during the Moral Saga so good. And even though we see Vegeta as a good guy, Vegeta doesn't see himself as that. That's why we get that whole speech with Vegeta talking about how he's still a villain and he'll be in hell with Moro, you know, one day paying for his crimes. Now that Vegeta has atoned for his crimes in the Moro Saga, right, when he saves the Namekians in helping in the defeat of Moro, the next step they're taking with Vegeta is having him put the past behind him, you know, forgetting about what he did to the Namekians, forgetting the people that he killed on Earth. You know, now he has a family. Now he's a good person. He's no longer the same person he was when we first met him in DBZ. And even though we see that, Vegeta needs to put that behind him fully so that he can become the best version of himself. So when Beerus says, right, my mind is always on destruction and nothing else, that's why there's no limit to my power, right? Beerus is saying that if Vegeta wants to get to Beerus's level, he needs to put the past behind him so that he can focus on the present and become the best person he can be for himself, for his family, for, you know, any danger that could come to them. Because we always know Dragon Ball is about the next villain. The part that I think people have been getting confused by is Beerus saying, listen, if you really want this power, you're going to have to destroy any stray thoughts and recreate yourself from scratch. And then Beerus gives the iconic line, before creation comes destruction, right? So there's people saying, oh, does that mean Vegeta's gonna have to forget everything and then become like Toppo where he only cares about destruction? Is Vegeta gonna have to, fall back into that negative evil mindset to gain this kind of power? No. Like I said, for Vegeta to gain this power, he needs to put the past truly behind him so it doesn't affect his thoughts, it doesn't affect his drive, it doesn't affect his mindset when in battle, right? So Vegeta here is going to have to forget about the past so that he can focus on the present and be able to gain this type of power. I think Beerus wants Vegeta to become a god of destruction, all right? And he wants, Vegeta to be more like him, only focus on destruction. But I don't think that's where Vegeta is going to end up by the end of this arc. I do think Vegeta is going to gain the God of Destruction power via the Hakai Technique, but, we're just going to see a better version of Vegeta, right? I don't think his character is going to change that much. It's just that Vegeta is not going to let the past hinder him as much as it always does. This could lead to a more happy, Vegeta, right? Vegeta won't always be all serious with that, blank mindset. Maybe, we see Vegeta spend more time with his family, things of that nature, right? But I don't think Vegeta's character is going to change that drastically to the point where we're unable to recognize him anymore, or he's more similar to the Vegeta he was in DBZ. No, I think this is all going to lead to a stronger Vegeta and a better Vegeta at the end of the day. I think some people have already mentioned that, this could lead Vegeta to be more like the character he is in GT, and not from a power perspective, but from a mindset, right? The Vegeta we see in GT has fully become an Earthling. He likes living on the planet, and he's not even really focused on fighting that much anymore. You see that drastic change in his appearance with the mustache and everything, and the haircut. It's kind of symbolic of Vegeta. His full journey into becoming a full-fledged Earthling, right? That could be the Vegeta we see by the end of this arc, and I'm not talking about in appearance, but just in terms of mindset. A more carefree Vegeta, a Vegeta that no longer thinks about the things he's done in the past because he's accepted those things, and those events eventually led to him becoming a better person at the end of the day. I don't think Vegeta is going to become like Beerus where, he's just this guy that only thinks about one thing, destruction. Kind of like how Toppo had to sacrifice everything. I think what Vegeta is going to sacrifice is, finally letting go of the things that have been burdening him for all these years. All the things he did in DBZ, finally letting those go and finally accepting that that's my past and now I'm a new person. That's where I think Vegeta is going here in this arc, and I cannot wait to see how it unfolds. This is great development for Vegeta, and I cannot wait to see where it leads. Next, after this, this could lead to Vegeta finally letting go of this rivalry he has with Goku and just focusing on himself and becoming the best fighter he can be. Will that happen in this arc? We'll see, but I think that's the last thing left on Vegeta's list that you need to cross out so that we can get the best Vegeta possible here in Dragon Ball Super. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know this was a different video here, especially with me, going back and analyzing and reacting to Vegeta versus Toppo from the anime. But let me know what you guys think, Where do you guys think, Vegeta is going in this arc? Are we going to get a better Vegeta? Are we going to get a stronger Vegeta? Or are we going to get something completely different that we didn't expect? Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. Also, make sure to hit that bell next to my name for all notifications so you guys never miss a video. I'll see you guys later. I'll have more Dragon Ball videos coming for you guys soon. Until then, stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.